So let's talk about Social Security. We are now seeing more and more reports that lawmakers are pushing for some type of Social Security reform, and they want to see this happen within the next year. But how likely is this going to happen? And is there any truth to potentially seeing a $2,000 stimulus check to the elderly and a $2,400 boost to Social Security benefits? Well, that's what we're going to discuss today. So make sure you stick around for this entire video, and I'll explain exactly what is going on. Now let's talk about these two increases. The first one, are the elderly going to get a $2,000 stimulus check? Well, here's the truth. In some cities and in some states, they are looking into legislation that would pass an additional bill that would create a $2,000 stimulus check for those over the age of 65. But you would have to meet the pretty much the income requirements in order to receive those. Those are still up in the air. So as of right now, yes, there's discussions, but are they passing? Well, no, they're not just yet. The next one is the $2,400 increase to Social Security benefits. Is this something that is going to happen? Well, there's discussions, but as of right now, and I've said this over the past few years, the Biden administration doesn't have the ability to pass a bill that includes $2,400 to Social Security recipients. I know President Biden promised $200 per month as a boost, but what we've actually received is a small increase because of the cost of living adjustment, and then we've seen decreases to your expenses because the Biden administration came out and said, no, we're going to put limits on how much you pay for prescriptions and things like that. So when you put those two things together, according to the Biden administration, they have fulfilled their promise of an additional $200 per month, but some was an increase, others were a decrease in expenses. That's where they came up with those increases. Now, where are we with any changes to Social Security? Well, I've already done a video on this to talk about the changes upcoming for 2024, but there's something else that came out the other day. I want to show you this. It says more Americans are optimistic about future of Social Security. This is a Gallup poll. Now, I want to read you a little bit of this article. This is actually from The Hill. It says, Americans are more optimistic about the future of Social Security than they have been in recent years, according to a new survey from Gallup. Among non-retirees, 50% expect Social Security to pay them a benefit when they retire, compared to 47% who do not think the system will help them. It says the response from non-retirees is up from readings taken between 2005 and 2015, when majorities of non-retirees polled said they did not think they would receive benefits from the system. It says current retirees believe they will continue to receive full benefits under Social Security. I want to read you some of the numbers. It says 53% of retirees, up from 37% in 2019 and 49% in 2015, say they will receive Social Security benefits. About 43% of respondents believe their benefits will be cut eventually, according to the survey. So right there, in 2019, it was 37% believe that Social Security will be there for them. Now it's 53%. You want to know the reason why these numbers are going up? And it has to do with what is coming up in 1 year. It's an election, a presidential election. Because if you look back at what President Biden has said, he's been very clear that he wants to provide some increases to Social Security. He wants to ensure that it stays solvent. But the problem is Republicans say they want to cut benefits, when essentially that's not exactly what they said. Some Republicans, yes, but the majority said, no, we do not want to cut benefits. We want to ensure the solvency of the program for the next 75 plus years. Well, if we don't make changes, nothing's going to happen. We will see cuts. And so here's what happened this past week. Former President Donald Trump came out and said that he has a plan for Social Security. And if you didn't get a chance to watch that video, I did this last week. Go and watch it. I talked about this potential Social Security increase, where former President Donald Trump says he's not going to increase taxes. He doesn't feel like we need to increase the full retirement age. Those are two things we don't need to do. What we need to do is we need to drill more oil. Drill more oil and use the revenue from oil drilling to pay for Social Security. How simple is that? Because right now, here's what's going on. Lawmakers are discussing ways to pull additional taxes. They're talking about things like to do to crypto, talking about taxing your assets, not just your income, but your total assets. They're talking about taxing the millionaires and billionaires of the United States, taxing the large corporations. And here's another one. They want to legalize marijuana because then we can tax it, because then we can pull additional revenue. And what we use that revenue for, well, that's up to Congress. So there's a lot of discussions on bringing in additional tax revenue. But former President Donald Trump says, no, we don't need additional tax revenue. What we need is this income from the oil that we're pulling out of the ground. That's what we need to do. And so I want to know your thoughts. Which direction do you think we should go? Increase taxes, which is not just going to happen to the millionaires and billionaires, but everyday people like you and I. Or should we go pull more oil out of the ground? Because according to reports, we are the richest country. We are the richest country in the world when it comes to oil. We just don't capitalize on it. We are not pulling the oil out of the ground like we should. So I'm curious what your thoughts are. But the big news out just recently is that more lawmakers are working on trying to put together a plan to save Social Security. But keep this in mind. They are working on a plan. Doesn't mean it's going to turn into a bill, and definitely does not mean it will turn into actual legislation that will become law. The reason why so many lawmakers are proposing these changes is because we are 1 year away from a presidential election. One thing that is a surefire way to get somebody elected is to come out and say, I'm going to increase your Social Security benefits. I'm going to ensure Social Security will be around for the next 75 years. Or the third one, I'm going to give you some free money. Those are things that are going to get people elected, at least according to experts. So, as we get more information on this, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But as of right now, that is what we know. So again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you share this video with your friends, family, and colleagues over on Facebook so that they too know what is going on. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.